Salvete omnes. This is exercise D of chapter 32. We are parsing these English sentences and turning them into Latin. Prima. We decided to fortify that large camp which we had captured from the enemy. Good decision. So we decided. Go to your verb. The verb is decided. Who decided? We did. We are the subject. So we, first person plural, perfect tense, active, indicative of constituo, constituere, constitui, constitutus. When constituo means to decide, it takes a complementary infinitive to complement or complete its meaning. The complementary infinitive here is fortify. To fortify is munio, munire, munivi, munitus. We want the present active infinitive of this verb to act as the complementary infinitive of constituo. So already we have something like munire constituimus. Remember, to form the perfect constitui, chop off the I and add imus, constituimus. What did we fortify? What thing? That large camp. That is demonstrative. We're going to use is ea id here. And one of the reasons we're using is ea id is, one, I did not point out the location of the thing to you. It's not the thing over there. It's not the thing that is close to us. It's not hic. It's not ille. It's that. And it's answered. It's picked up by which. It's almost like we're answering which thing it is. And the usual answer to qui, quae, quod is ea id. Sometimes it acts like the English definite article. So the large camp which. Which large camp? The one which we had captured from the enemy. So we want is ea id to agree with the noun camp, and we want the adjective large, magnusa to agree with camp as well. We said camp is the direct object of the present active infinitive fortify, because that's what we're fortifying, and it's that large camp. Which one? Oh, the one we captured from the enemy. Camp is castra, aurum, always neuter, always plural. And we want the direct object, that's the accusative form. The accusative plural of castra, aurum, always neuter, always plural is castra. That makes is ea id, also accusative plural neuter. So ea, and magnusa also accusative plural neuter, magna. So ea castra magna. And which camp did we decide to fortify? The one that we had captured from the enemy. Relative clause introduced by the relative pronoun qui, quae, quod. The antecedent of the relative pronoun is camp, the camp which one we had captured from the enemy. The antecedent and the relative pronoun must agree in gender and number, but not necessarily in case. So camp, we already determined, is going to be accusative plural neuter, and the relative pronoun which must be plural and neuter. It just so happens inside this clause, which we had captured from the enemy, that it is the direct object of the verb captured, because we is the subject of the verb captured, because we did the capturing to the camp, which. That makes the relative pronoun accusative plural neuter, so quae. Which we had captured, so we want capio, capere, capi, captus, first person plural, pluperfect active indicative, and from what have we captured, or from whom have we captured the which, the camp? From the enemy. We want ab plus the ablative, showing separation. We took it from the enemy. We want the plural of hostis, hostis masculine, because we said the enemy. If we had captured the camp from an enemy, we would have made hostis singular. So we want ab hostibus, ab, ab hostibus. Put the b because the H in classical Latin is almost silent. In the Romance languages, it is silent. You don't say hola. So altogether, we have for prima, munire constituimus ea castra magna, quae ob hostibus ceperamus. Ceperamus, the first person plural pluperfect of capio, capere, capi, captus. Optime, secunda. The slaves were forced to give back to the master part of the reward which he had given them. Ooh, there's a lot of moving parts in this sentence. So, one step at a time. What's the verb? Verb is were forced. Notice it is passive. It is passive. So who's the subject? Who were forced? The poor slaves. Slaves going to be nominative and plural and masculine of servus e masculine. So we want the servi. Now they were forced. So kogo, kogere, koegi, koaktos. Third conjugation. Were forced is going to be perfect tense, perfect passive. So fourth principal part, koaktos. Make it masculine plural to agree with the slaves, koakti, koakti. And then give it helping verb, third person plural, present tense of sum, sunt. Servi koakti sunt. Servi sunt koakti. Now, what were they forced to do? Usually kogo, if it were active voice, would take a subject accusative and an objective infinitive. So if the master forced the slaves to give back the part of the reward, master would be the subject, force would be an active voice verb, the slaves would be the subject accusative, the master forced the slaves, subject accusative, and then the objective infinitive would be to give back. He forced the slaves to give back. We do not have that here. Here we have a passive voice verb. Subject, passive voice verb. What normally takes a subject accusative and objective infinitive, in the passive will take a complementary infinitive. Make sure you review the video on infinitive uses. So altogether we have something like servi sunt koakti, to give back, complementary infinitive, the present active infinitive of reddo, reddere, reddidi, redditus. It's red, R-E-D, do-dare. Only you change the A to an E. So it's not reddare, it's reddere. And it's a third conjugation. So servi, reddere, koakti sunt. What were they forced to give back? Well, they were forced to give back not the master, but the part, and not the reward, but the part. They were forced to give back the part. Now, to whom were they forced to give back the direct object, the part? The indirect object. This is the dative indirect object. You can see the prepositional phrase to the master. Dative indirect object receives the direct object. So we want dominus e masculine. The dative is domino. Part is pars partis feminine. We want the accusative because it's the direct object, partem. Part of the reward, part of the reward. This is going to be a textbook example of a partitive, notice the word part, partitive genitive, where we get part of the whole thing. We get a slice out of the pie. And the pie is the partitive part. This is the whole thing, the group, the pie, and this is only the slice of it, because we give the direct object out of the whole thing. So we want the genitive singular, because it's partitive genitive, of primium primi neuter. So it's primi. And the reward which he had given them. Which, relative pronoun introducing a relative clause, the antecedent of which, is reward. So the reward which he had given them. We want the singular and neuter. They must agree in singular and neuter. Now, inside the clause, the relative pronoun which is going to be the direct object of given. He is the subject of had given, and he had given this thing, this reward, to them, dative indirect object. So singular, neuter, this is genitive, but this is going to be accusative. So quote, he had given, third person singular pluperfect active indicative of do, dare, dedi, datus, so dederat, and then we want the dative, plural masculine, of is ea id, eis, because it refers back to the slaves. Altogether, we have something like servi domino reddere coacti sunt, partem primi quod eis dederat. Optime, tertia. Who will flee with me from this wretched place? Great sentence. Who? It's interrogative. Who? We're not saying which person. We're saying who, interrogative, not an adjective, but a pronoun. This is an interrogative pronoun. Quis is the sexed masculine feminine. Quid is the neuter, the neutral. So this is who, a sex person, quis. Quis. Who will flee? Third person singular, because it's a who. Third person singular future active indicative of fugio, fugere, fugi, fugitus. Quis fugiet? Quis fugiet? Who will flee? Now, this is an ablative of accompaniment. It normally takes cum plus the ablative to show accompaniment, but you don't say cum me. You say me cum. You don't say cum te. You say te cum. You don't say cum nobis. You say nobis cum. And you don't say cum vobis. You say vobis cum. You do say cum eo and cum illo and cum hoc. You do say quocum and quibuscum. So this is mecum. Quis mecum fugiet? From this wretched place. We're going from this wretched place. So ablative of separation. We're leaving from this one right here, this. I didn't specify whether it should be this thing right here. You can say is ea id, ablative singular. It's going to be masculine to agree with place. Wretched is miser, misera, miserum. Ablative singular masculine to agree with place, which is locus e masculine. So the ablative from ab, hoc, loco, misero. Quis mecum ab hoc loco misero fugiet. Quarta, sententia quarta. The messenger said to the general, "The garrison will remain on the bridge for 2 days, my liege." So the messenger said, quoth the messenger to the general. So said is our verb, and notice we are using quotation marks. Do not use dico, dicere, dixi, dictus. No, 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 no. You're going to use inquam, inquis, inquit, inquiut, which only has a couple forms. So singular messenger said, so inquit, got to use inquit. Inquit usually does not come first, but like the vocative comes second or third after the first couple important words or phrase. So the subject, the messenger, nuntius, nunti masculine, nominative singular masculine, nuntius inquit, and then to the general. To the general is going to be dative, dative indirect object. This is the thing that we said to the general. It's like this is a direct object, like one big accusative, only it's in quotation marks. So we're not going to mess around with any of the syntax inside. None of the cases are really going to change or alter. That's a different lesson for a different day. So this is the dative indirect object. Imperator, imperatoris masculine. We want the dative imperatori. So I would say something like nuntius imperatori, and then I would start the first word or the second word maybe of the quotation, then add the inquit, and then pick up the rest of the quotation. Nuntius imperatori. The garrison will remain on the bridge for 2 days. Garrison, I'd hate to have to leave a garrison here. Praesidium, praesidi, neuter. It's the nominative subject of the verb will remain, so praesidium. So we could say nuntius imperatori, quotation marks, praesidium, comma, quotation marks, inquit, comma, quotation marks, and then finish your quotation, then put the period, and then end quotes. Garrison will remain on the bridge. Remain is maneo, manere, mansi, mansus. Garrison, third person singular, future, will remain, active indicative. On the bridge, preposition in plus the ablative of location, of pons, pontus, masculine, in ponte. And for how long shall that garrison remain? For the duration of time, for 2 days. 2 is duo, duai, duo. It actually declines and must agree with days, dies, ae, masculine, in gender numbering case. We said it's the accusative of duration of time. So dies, accusative plural masculine, and duo, accusative plural masculine, will be duos. Duos dies. And that's the end of the quotation. So all together, nuntius imperatori, Praesidium inquit, in ponte duos dies manebit. Quinta, we shall not be able to be present, but we shall send our sons and daughters. Okay. We shall not be able to be present, but. Okay, so we have two main clauses here, and they are joined by the conjunction but, the adversative conjunction but. So we won't be able to do this, but we shall send our sons and daughters. So our first main verb is going to be able to, and it's negated, not be able to. So we're going to have a noun. We shall not be able to. Able to is possum, posse, potui, plus a complementary infinitive, and that complementary infinitive is going to be present. Ad sum, ad esse, ad fui, ad futurus. We shall not be able to be present. This is going to be the first person plural future of possum. Known, and then we're going to have poterimus. Poterimus. It's poterimus because possum is formed off of sum. If the first person plural future of sum is erimus, we add the prefix pot, pot, to the front of it to get poterimus. So ad esse non poterimus. But we shall send our sons and daughters. But that's just going to be said. But 1t, said, sed. We shall send, this is our next main verb, mitte, mittere, misi, misus. We shall do it in the first person plural future active indicative. So mittemus, mittemus. Don't you dare write mittebemus. There's no bobus bit. Mittemus, es et, amos etus ent. Mitto is a third conjugation. We shall send our sons and daughters, our direct objects. So noster, nostra, nostrum, agreeing with filius, filii, masculine, et or que attached to daughters, filia, I, feminine. So we shall send filios nostros et filias, or filios nostros filiasque. We could say filios filiasque nostras, or filios et filias nostras. The noster has to agree with one of the sons or the daughters. Romans would probably make it agree with the sons because Latin is a sexist language. And we shall send is mittemus. Sed nostros filios et filias mittemus. Sexta. An evil man cannot be truly great, said the judge to the citizens. And all the citizens went, huh. Okay, so we have a quotation because quotation marks are being used. Quoth the judge to the citizens. So the judge is the subject. Iudex, iudicus, masculine. He's the guy that says the law. He said we cannot use dica, we must use inquit. Inquit iudex, and then to the citizens, civus, civus, masculine, feminine. You can write C for common, civibus. And this is what he said. So I would say something like, Iudex civibus, and then start the quotation for a word or two, and then put inquit, and then finish the quotation. An evil man. An evil man. I'm not even going to write weir. Not even going to write weir. Just going to use evil as a substantive. Someone evil. Malus aum. But I make it singular and masculine and nominative because it's the subject of the verb cannot. So malus. Just a malus, an evil man. You can tell it's man because us, masculine, singular ending. If it were masculine plural, it'd be men. Feminine singular, it'd be woman, mala. So he cannot be great. This dude cannot be great. Is not able. You have to turn cannot be into is not able to be. So it's going to be known. Potest is not able to be. Third person singular present of possum, posse, potui. Esse. Non potest esse. Truly, truly is the adverb form of true. True, the adjective is verosa so the adverb form is vere, V-E-R-E, vere. And then great is going to be magnosa adjective, and it's going to be a predicate nominative to the evil man. evil man cannot be great. The linking verb is be, esse, which is the complementary infinitive of potest. And then vere, the adverb modifies esse, be. So, an evil man cannot be truly great. Or vere truly could also be modifying the adjective great. Actually, that is more correct. So, vere magnus. Altogether, iudex cibibus malus inquit, non potest vere magnus esse. Septima. The attack of the German cavalry was held in check by our men, who were fighting fiercely. So the attack, the impetus, us masculine, fourth declension, nominative singular masculine, the singular attack of the German cavalry belonged to them. The cavalry, which was German, German being an adjective, Germanusa agreeing with cavalry. Cavalry, that's going to be the plural genitive of the cavalry. That's going to be eques, equitus, masculine, horseman, knight, cavalry in the plural. So equitum, if that's genitive plural masculine, Germanusa must be genitive plural masculine, Germanorum. Impetus Germanorum equitum. Impetus equitum Germanorum was held in check by our men. This is the same as was withstood. Subteneo, subtenere, subteneo, subtenere, subtinui sustentus. Or susteneo, sustenere, sustinui sustentus. Comes from subteneo. So was held in check. Was held, perfect passive. It's modifying the attack, not the Germans, not the cavalry, but the attack of them, their attack, was held in check. So if this is nominative singular masculine, so must the fourth principal part of sustineo. So we want sustentus, so impetus sustentus, was held. So perfect passive, we want the present tense of sum as a helping verb, we want est. Sustentus est. Impetus equitum Germanorum sustentus est. And it was held in check by what? By what means? Or by whom? It was held by persons, by our men. This is going to be an ablative of personal agent because sustentus est is passive voice. Who actually did the holding in check? The attack was the thing that was held in check by our men. So this is the agent. Agent means the doer, the one that actually does the passive voice verb, by our men. So our is noster, nostra, nostrum. Must be ablative plural masculine to agree with wir, viri masculine. You actually don't need the wir. No Roman, no self-respecting Roman would write viris here. That would just be contained inside our as a substantive, like the evil man was in Sententia Sexta. We would just say a nostris. Sustentus est a nostris. A nostris sustentus est. Who were fighting fiercely? Who were fighting fiercely? It was our men. Our men who were fighting fiercely. The antecedent of who, the relative pronoun, is men. So who were fighting fiercely? This is a relative clause. Men, plural masculine. Who is plural masculine. And in the sentence, who is going to be the nominative subject of the verb were fighting. Pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, pugnatus. Third person plural, imperfect active indicative. Qui pugnabant. And then how were they fighting? Adverb modifies the verb fiercely. We can use acer, acris, acre. Third declension adjective. The adverb form will be acriter, acriter. You take the stem, acer, and add iter, acriter. So altogether, the sentence could read something like impetus equitum Germanorum a nostris sustentus est, qui acriter pugnabant. Optime, octava. The Republic ought not to be overcome by the attack of one man who desires a revolution. Does his name start with a C and ends in Adeline? Satelline? No, not Satelline. So octava. So the Republic. What is the Republic? It is the res publica, the public stuff. public affairs. Res publica. Republic comes from the ablative re publica, and then we drop the a. So it's the noun res, fifth declension, and then it has the adjective publicus in the feminine publica, modifying it. So res publica, rei publicae, rem publicam, re publica. Means state, commonwealth, government, republic. Shouldn't be in the plural, because the Romans felt like, they kind of had the only one. So the res publica ought not to be overcome. So the republic is the subject, God bless her, ought not. So this is debeo, debere, debui, debitus with not known. So non debet. Res publica non debet, ought not. So ought, debeo, often takes a complementary infinitive to complete its meaning, and that is here, to be overcome. Now, it's not active to overcome, it's not superare, but it's the passive superari. Present passive infinitive superari, complementary infinitive with debet. Res publica superari non debet. By what? By what? By the attack. Now, if overcome by men, by a person, this would be an ablative of personal agent like it is in Septima. And it would take a preposition and the ablative, personal agent. This is a thing. An attack is a thing. So not personal agent, person, because it's not a person, it's a thing. This is ablative of means, instrumentality. The attack is an instrument, it's a thing. Ablative of means, as opposed to the ablative of personal agent, which uses the preposition ab, by, ablative of means uses no preposition. So just the bare noun and the ablative. We want impetu. Impetu. The ablative of impetus, us, masculine, fourth declension, impetu. And it's the attack of one man, belonging to one man, genitive, possession of one man. Once again, we're not going to put man, we're just going to put one as a substantive, because it's an adjective, unus Make it genitive. Unus is one damn Hatterklats, which means that the genitive singular ends in ius and the dative ends in the letter I. So unius, unius. Impetu unius, the attack of one man, by the attack of one man who desires a revolution, who desires a revolution. So this is relative clause introduced by a relative pronoun, who, antecedent of which is the one man. So it's very similar to Sententia Septima. So make sure that you study these. The attack of one man, genitive, singular masculine, so this must be singular masculine, and it is the nominative subject of the verb desires, which is cupio, cupere, cupivi, cupitus. He desires, third person singular, present tense, cupit, qui cupit, a revolution. Remember that revolution in English, singular plural? In Latin, it's always going to be plural. It's novae res, or res novae. As opposed to res publica, we have res nova. Res nova is bad. Revolution is bad to a Roman. Ugh, we don't like that. No, new stuff. The Romans like their res publica. They don't like their res novae. Ugh, gross. So res novae, it's always plural. We want the direct object, the accusative form, because that's what he, cupit, desires. Accusative, res novas. Altogether, Octava could read, res publica non superare debet impetu unius qui res novas cupit. Nona, the duties of the Roman consul, said the teacher, were many and not easy. Yep, the duties were not easy. So we have a quotation by a very erudite individual, a teacher. So quotation marks are being used. So we have the magister, the teacher. If it's a female teacher, you could say magistra. So magister, don't use dico, but use inquit. Inquit magister, quoth teacher. And we'll put that after the first couple words or phrases of the quotation. Let's go ahead and put duties first. That sounds good. So officium, offici neuter, we want the accusative plural, we want the nominative plural neuter because it's the subject. The duties were Yes, that's right. The duties were many and they were not easy. Nope. So officia of the Roman consul, belonging to the Roman consul. So genitive of consul consulis, genitive of possession is consulus, masculine. Genitive singular masculine of Romanus aum is Romani. Duties of the Roman consul. So we could say something like consulis Romani officia, or officia consulis Romani, inquit magister, were many and not easy. So in the end, this is just a subject, linking verb, and then a predicate adjectives here in the nominative case. Errant multus aum, multa, accusative plural neuter to go, nominative plural neuter to go with the nominative plural neuter subject. Errant multa et non facilia. Et non facilia. Facilia being the nominative plural neuter of facilis, facile, facilia. Altogether, the sentence could read something like, Magister officia Romani consulis, inquit, errant multa et non facilia. Optime and decima. The father ordered his sons to send all of the money to the farmers. So the verb is ordered and the subject is the father. Father ordered. So this is going to be pater patris masculine. The subject is the nominative is pater. He ordered, eubeo, eubere, iusi, iusus. Third person singular perfect tense, active indicative. So pater iusit. Remember that eubeo takes a subject accusative and an objective infinitive. So the father ordered the subject accusative to do the objective infinitive. The pater iusit filios, you don't need the his, filios, the accusative plural masculine of filios, fili masculine, and he ordered them to, present active infinitive, mitto, mittere, misi, misos, to send. To send all the money, all of the money. Now instead of all the money, we're just going to say all, the adjective omnis, omne, agrees with pecunia, I feminine, all the money. So this is going to be the accusative direct object of this present active infinitive to send. Omnem pecuniam. Omnem pecuniam. All the money to the farmers. We're sending this money to the farmers. So go ahead and put odd, preposition odd, plus the accusative, because we're sending, motion towards. Odd plus the accusative, direct object. Odd, agricola, I masculine, agricolas, motion towards. Altogether, the sentence could read, Pater filios iusit, omnem pecuniam ad agricolas mittere. Optime! You've now completed exercise D of chapter 32. Valete omnes.